I'll switch up there.
But it's not showing up yet, is it?
Yeah, it is now.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, good afternoon on a cold day in Wisconsin and Minnesota.
I don't see me.
There's a lag, so you will show up very soon.
It's a magical fairy power. You see, I emerge. I'm hoping there isn't as much of a lag between my voice and the video as I'm seeing. So if there's anyone out there and you have a Google account, yes, and you sign into your Google account, you can actually chat in the chat room.
Yes. Of course, according to the computer clock, it's not quite 3, it's 2:58.
Well, that is true, but so there might be early birds.
That's true. It says one is watching now, but that might just be us.
Mm-hmm. It might be. Well, so we'll, at the dot of 3, I will instruct how to chat in the chat room. Actually, if anybody's going to be there, they're probably there now. Yes, we don't have a great way to monitor who is watching other than folks who are signed in through Google or YouTube, which is the same thing, who then can chat in the chat room and say, hi, we're here. And if you are there, that would be lovely. Then we know if we were talking to ourselves. Although, we talk to ourselves all the time, so what's the difference?
It's par for the course.
Par for the course. But it would be nice if anybody is there and able to chat to tell us how it sounds to you guys. And yeah, it looks like nobody is there chatting, at least at the moment.
Nope.
So I guess we will just have to assume and hope that they can hear us.
Right.
Which they should be able to.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's just about 3 o'clock, so we may as well begin.
All right.
Hello, you lovely people. I shall stand up in my snow fairy finery. Yes, indeed.
Hi, Joe.
Whoops. Except that snow fairies do bump into things. It's just because we're so cold and frozen.
Joe says it sounds great.
Oh, excellent. Hello, Joe. Well, welcome to all of you to our Flurry of Snowbirds concert. And of course, it's the middle of winter. And middle is an important word here. This couple of days ago, we actually reached the halfway point between the winter solstice and the vernal equinox. So we're smack dab between winter and spring. That means we're halfway done, folks. There's hope. We might get there. We might survive this winter. And so the theme of the concert today is that kind of in-between time when we're not spring, we're not winter, but we're moving towards the winter. And the creatures who are really feeling this transition right now, well, fairies and elves are feeling it because we're very close to the cycles of nature. And of course, the birds and all the wild creatures out there are feeling it. And I think about this time of year, I think about the birds out there, the birds who overwinter here, and the birds who migrate, leave and come back. And I imagine what it must feel like to them. They're getting to a point where they're starting to feel the stirrings of spring is coming, reproduction, find a mate. And for young birds who have never had the experience yet, who were just hatched last year and haven't had the experience yet of that spring rush of hormones and finding a mate, I'm wondering if sometimes there's a little trepidation. There's a little, there's something that I'm longing for. I don't quite get what it is, and I'm a little worried about it, but And I think that's kind of part of what nature is doing here too. It's like winter is like not quite wanting to let go and let spring take over. It's kind of this dance. It's kind of a romantic dance between spring and winter and between birds and their fate and all the animals and their fate. So the first song we're going to do for you today is dedicated to that very, not struggle, but that little dance of longing for something, romantic, that should be coming with spring, but you are not quite sure whether you're ready. And in particular, this song is about swans. Swans mate for life. And so that point where they're gonna fall in love with somebody and that's gonna be it, that's a very important point in their lives. And that's coming up in a month or so for some of them. So this song is about that sort of push-pull, and it's called Love Like Swans. Swans made for life, that's what they say. Swans fall in love in a permanent way. Through many years they stay true. But how did it happen? How did they know what to do? What makes their love so pure? What's it like to feel that sure? As she glides along out there on the lake, who makes her heart flutter? Who makes her heart ache? How does she know when it's real? Is it instinct that tells her to believe that what she feels will last for all of her days? When swans let love in, it stays. They take to the skies with a beating of wings, their hearts full of purpose, their lives rich with meaning. Through thousands of miles, harsh winters, sweet springs, held up on the magic that only true love brings. How would I react? What would I do if someone appeared suddenly out of the blue? Would I rise to the challenge, be strong, and believe in a love that goes on and on and on? Would I welcome that new dawn? Do I want to be a swan? When he touches my hand and looks in my eyes, will I have the instinct to recognize that the one I long for is here? Will I push him away or hope that he stays near? Will I thrill at the sound of his voice? Will I make the right choice? How will it feel when he makes my heart fly? Will our wings synchronize as we take to the skies? Will I hold that love tight forever and a day? Or will I just fly away? What a difficult choice. Well, Stu's going to do one with another kind of snowbird here for you.
Yes, I'm going to switch over to the hammered dulcimer here and play a tune that was written by Dave Richardson of the Boys of the Loch. And it is indeed a bird song, and it's called The Plover's Wing. And I'll just get myself organized here. And when Mr. Richardson wrote this, he talked about being inspired by the plovers flying and swooping around off the cliffs of England. You can imagine them being snow covered and the swallows or the plovers doing their thing. And I'll follow it with a tune called The Gravel Walk. And while that's not particularly about birds, there are plenty of birds that hang out in gravel. So we can imagine the birds on the gravel walk as well as the plovers fluttering around. Plover's Wing and The Gravel Walk.
And I might just say that any sensible plovers of this area will not be here this winter. They will be down south running along the beach. Maybe we should be. No. I'm a winter fairy. Yes, I'm embracing my winterness.
However, I have it on good authority that many of the plovers in England hang out there year round.
Aha, good for them. All right. Well, the next song we're going to do, and the last song, because this is an itty bitty mini concert today, is about really the most beautiful winter bird you're likely to encounter. And this year we are having a visitation of these birds, the snowy owl. And I just realized I have a visual aid. This was actually just a napkin that I found on the table. See, it's a snowy owl. And they're very well dressed. They always wear hats like that. No, they don't really. But anyway, snowy owls, their native habitat is in the Arctic, the far Arctic, Greenland, the Arctic regions of Canada. And that's where they breed in the summertime. And snowy owls are very specialized hunters. They eat almost exclusively lemmings in their native habitat. And there are cycles that occur in the population density of the lemmings in the Arctic. And it used to be, at least, that every 4 years, the population of the lemmings would crash. And that would bring the snowy owls in the winter coming farther south to try to find food. So we would occasionally see a few owls down in this part of the world in the winter during these years when there's a lemming crash. Well, things are changing. With climate change, with global warming, the Arctic is thawing. The permafrost, which is the frozen layer of soil and vegetation of the tundra, is thawing. And what's happening is the lemmings, which are burrowers, their populations are beginning to plummet because when the permafrost thaws, their tunnels collapse and it changes the availability of food and the lemmings die off. And so as the lemming populations go down, the snowy owl population goes down. And this is a very interesting winter right here for snowy owls. In our area, we are having a large, it's called an eruption, IRR, eruption, of snowy owls this year. And we had one last year, but this year is even bigger. They're coming down here in huge numbers. And this is no longer a 4-year cycle. What is happening is last year, there was, because of global warming, there was this sort of artificially longer growing season. So all of a sudden, there was more vegetation for the lemmings to eat, and there was a population explosion of the lemmings. So then there was a population explosion of the owls because the breeding owls had more to eat, more chicks survived. So there's a very big population of snowy owls last summer. Well, now everything's thawing, and we're going to start to see the devastating effects on the lemming population. And we have this big, big population of snowy owls who were born or hatched last summer, who now don't have anything to eat up there in the winter. So they are down here. And if you are interested in seeing these glorious, glorious birds, it's very likely that unless you live pretty far south, you might be able to see them in your area. And if you're interested in doing that, go to a site called ebird.org, ebird.org. And there they have species maps where people report sightings of various birds, and you can find out whether there are snowy owls in your area. So that rather long-winded biological explanation is the introduction to our final song, which is pretty much one of the newest things I've written. And it's called The Snowy Owl. And it's pretty much about this dilemma. All right. One, two, three, 2, 2, 3. White foxes are sleeping in their cool tundra beds. Sharp shards of color fold the sky overhead. Ghostly and silent in the calm winter air. pale wings are hunting, but the prey isn't there. In the snow is an owl, and the snow is the owl, and the owl hears the singing of Arctic ice in the blue of the longest night, in the midnight of shimmering light. Leaving home skies behind, she seeks what she needs over lands unfamiliar, far from Greenland's cold seas. Strange lights pass below her in a world upside down. Endless miles she keeps going till she meets fertile ground. In the snow is an owl, and the snow is the owl, and the owl hears the singing of engines in flight, in the din of the busy night, in the midnight of airport lights. Away again, yearning for quiet and space, to shelter through winter with some measure of grace. Then a field by a farmhouse with one window aglow. For now she will stay here, she has nowhere else to go. A child sees the owl, and the child is the owl, and the owl hears the singing of awake and sight, spark of wonder in a mind burning bright, like a candle flame in the midnight. And with the owl, seeking light from a faded year. And the midnight hears the singing of its darkest fear. Will the snow and the owls disappear? The snowy owl, a little bit mournful. Well, I'll tell you what, if we all vote the right way, maybe we can still save the Arctic and save the snowy owls. And in the meantime, if you're in an area where they might be wintering, coming down here, go see them. It is the most amazing spiritual experience. And thank you all for coming to our little mini concert. If any of you folks came in late, or if you'd like to see this again, there will actually be a video that will automatically be saved from the concert here, and you can go right back to this same link and see it anytime. We will do this again in a few months. We're going to kind of do it as the wheel of the year, as the seasons turn and events mark that. So we will be doing this again in the spring, probably.
Yeah.
With different birds.
Right.
So
a springtime feel.
A springtime feel, absolutely. So thank you again for coming, and take care and enjoy the rest of winter. Bye-bye.